So yes, hi everyone, welcome back to our sessions. We are team of passionate developers where we not only develop the applications, but the focus is also to encourage new technologies into the projects and also how to optimize them. So this time we are back with another stunning session. Today's coach will be Jagdish Singh, software consultant in Noldos INC, and today we will be learning http4s. Maybe means before that session we have came to know about what http4s, since we have a number of sessions around it as well, but in this session we will again be learning what actually it is, how the things are working, the architecture which we do follow over there, and also means how to create your first request and how to build up a server for your first time. So if you are new, if you are if you want to learn something new, especially the new emerging tech stack, HTTP4S is a good option for you. Especially, I think every one of you are aware of that Akka has been commercialized now. So, new alternative and the best approach to Akka HTTP is HTTP4S. So, I recommend everyone, if you want to learn, please have this session. Now, also, if you do have any doubt or query, you can reach out to us anytime, or you can raise your request as well. So, the session is all yours, Jagdish. You can start the session.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Khalida. So let me just begin. Let's begin with the Nolux attitudes. So we'll be punctual, like let's keep joining session 5 minutes before so we can conclude and start on time. The feedbacks are very essential. It helps presenter to be more constructive. Please keep your mobiles in the silent mode so and move out in time of any urgency and avoid any kind of disturbance. So the agenda is we will get to know about HTTP4S, how it works, how we can start with it, how we can set up a project of HTTP4S and start building the routes. And in the end, I'll just demonstrate the setup part and test routes with this. So the first question arises in mind, what is HTTP4S? So like it's a Scala interface for HTTP requests. So like we can build APIs with HTTP4S. Now let's talk about what it brings to the table. It's very lightweight, so we don't have to do some other stuff like in HTTP we have to create actors, send messages to the actor and handle the responses. But in HTTP4S we can just uh, define endpoints, routes, and behaviors, that is the responses, and we are good to go with the HTTP4S. It is a cross platform. Now what does that mean? Like it works efficiently with either of your backend services, be it Scala.js, Scala native, whether you deploy it on browsers or you test it on your local JVM. So it will behave all same. So HD4S is built on Cat's effect. Uh, Now we are aware that Cat's effect handle side effects. So to prevent side effects, it is built on the Cat's effect. And FS2 is a streaming library that handles streaming related things. So HTTP4S also supports streaming. We don't have to worry about large payloads, like it handles it in its body, and avoid memorization and caching. It also supports WebSockets at the server side. It is stateful, like all the requests and responses sent to HTTP requests are immutable, and it's purely functional. Let's go to the next slide. So now the question arises in mind how it works. So like how HTTP4S works. For a single server, like for every server, there is one basic requirement. Like every request is supposed to generate a response. That is the minimum requirement for a server. When we work with servers, we came across situations that when a request doesn't respond, like whether it is a malware request or request is not handled properly. So there comes a scenario like a server might not produce a response for a request. So that case we can say that is a none response for a request. When we work with the routes, we get to work with the when we have to call some external services, like we have to call the database or whether we have to hit some route of some external service. So there can be side effects like that sir, these external services don't produce result with some side effects. So that side effects are handled with Gates effect. So F here is the effect that is wrapped with the response of request, that is option of response. So this generation of request to the response effect option of response is called Calicely model transportation. So how do we start with http4s route DSL? So we have to add dependencies for this, like one is http4s DSL, and we have to set up server, so we need dependency for that one also. And we know that requests and responses need to be serialized and deserialized. For that integration, http4s supports code integration with SRC, FS2 data, that is for streaming, and also Scala XML and Scala tags. So we can use any of these as per our requirement for serialization and deserialization. So how do we define routes in the http4s? So like routes are nothing but these are case statements inside a server. So you can see like here is one case. Here get is a request type and then followed by endpoint and last is segment. So name is this segment here, and for which we are generating response with the hello segment, hello name basically. So there can be any number of case statements in HTTP routes, but one thing we need to take care of is the sequence. Like one case statement should not be messing around with another one. So we need to take care of that when we are writing statements for the services. So how do we define a GET request with query parameters? We need to extend query param decoder matcher where we can define the type of the expected query parameter and its name. You can see the ID is the name here of the query parameter and it's supposed to be the string parameter, and the second one is the year, that is supposed to be the integer type, basically a number. And we can define routes for these. You can see the second image here, get record with the operator and then followed by the query parameter. You will get to know it better when I'll demonstrate with the example. So how do we define a post request? Like for a JSON object, you need to define your case class first, then you need to define the request, and also we can do pattern matching on the responses. Like you can see here, response is I of int, and we can flat map over the response type and then produce the desired response. So here is how to run a server for HTTP routes. So you can see that I have created a server for the above routes. Now I'll just demonstrate with these routes. So here I have created a server and I'll define the routes here. So like server is extending IO app, which is responsible for allocating and deallocating resources. Once a request arises to the server, then it will allocate the server resource to the server, and once server sends the response, it will reallocate the resource. So the resource will be free after its response. So let's create routes here. So let's set the route. So it just send the response from this route. So help from server. So here I've write some queries for the database. So let's get responses from these. So let's run the server again. So you can see that I have this table. So I don't have any record in this table as of now. So it's sending 0 number. Now let's create some record. So like, so you can see that it's returning I of int. So if it's returning 1, then the record is inserted. If it's returning 0, then fail to insert. Rerun the server. So the table is empty as of now. Let's just insert record. So it got inserted. Now let's create a route to fetch the details. So first I'll just fetch with the segment. Let's create some more. So like here I have created two models. One will fetch by the ID parameter, which is string, and another is year, which is an integer. So I'll just write with the string part. My bad. Now rerun again. Let's just get by the segment first. So like the ID here is treated as the segment, which is ID here, and we are calling this method to fetch a record from the car table, and we are sending the response okay, which is a 200 here, and passing the same and response body here, this one as underscore. And also this is for the query parameter. We are passing this query parameter here, which is the ID, and we're sending as a string. So you can see that we are also treating it here as a string. Now let's create another one with the integer type. So you can see that we are sending the same response with the integer. So here we have defined year, which is the name of a query parameter, and integer is the type. So anyone have any queries so far? So I'll take that as a no. So this was about the creating HTTP routes with the http4s library. This was all from my side. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
So anyone have any queries? Okay.
So are there any differences? Because I think this is primarily for Scala, right? So HTTP, a minimal library for Scala. So just curious to know in other languages, right? For example, for Java or for other Ruby, etc. Are there similar libraries available?
So it's just available for the Scala ecosystem as of now.
Okay, but it must be having some, comparable technologies in other technology areas because we use Scala definitely, one of the most widely used option. But along with that, if you see, there are other technologies also, right, for high performance systems. Uh, Um, if we have to have the similar kind of behavior in other technologies. Like, for example, if I'm using Java, so is there any technology available in Java for the similar kind of thing?
So we can say like in Java we do have servlets that behaves like this one on PC.
Okay, okay, okay. And any pitfalls of this? I mean, anything that one has to be careful about? I mean, good things people usually tell, but sometimes it's also good to know what are the um, any of the areas where we have to be careful or
With the http4s,
yeah. For example, security, etc. So is it secure? Are there any concerns over security because it's over HTTP or HTTPS?
it's http4s.
Yeah, but it's HTTP library. Okay.
Yes. So like one thing we are lacking in this library is that it doesn't have a proper documentation. So one has
Hmm.
to do a lot of work or like hands-on to get familiar with this one. So that
Hmm.
is the one of the drawback.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks everyone.
Any other questions? I guess we are not having any questions as of now. So thank you, Jagdish. It was quite an interesting topic, and hopefully we are not having any questions. But we'll request all the participants to reach out if they are having any to Mr. Jagdish. Okay, so I guess we can wrap it up here.
Thank you.